Hi everyone, my name is John. Welcome back to my channel. And I have another book review for you today. Surprised, I'm sure. It is another book by a writer that this is my first experience with. But when I found this edition, I didn't even know it existed until I saw it. It's an Everyman's Library edition, and I'm not too used to them publishing contemporary living writers. But Jane Smiley is still very much alive, at least as of this recording. And they put this out. This is her copy of A Thousand Acres. And that's her on the cover there, the author. And with the Everyman Library hardback spine. So again, straight up from the top, this review contains spoilers, including maybe the most important spoiler of the novel, which is also kind of a trigger warning for abuse and abuse of children. So, if that's not something you want to hear about, I can certainly understand and stop listening here. So, Jane Smiley's novel takes the well-known story of King Lear, Shakespeare's King Lear, and transposes it onto a small Iowa farm in the 1970s. So there are three daughters: Jenny, the narrator of the book, and her sisters, Caroline and Rose, hints of Goneril, Cordelia, and Regan. Notice how you have one sister. Both have three sisters, and each one of the sisters in this book starts with the same letter of the sister in the Shakespeare play: Jenny, Goneril, Caroline, Cordelia, Rose, Regan. They are the three daughters of the family patriarch named Larry Cook, whose age, senility, and increasing distance from the rest of his family are sources of tension for everyone. Even without their drunken mess of a father looming over the farm, they each deal with problems of their own. Rose has cancer and two children. Carolyn is frustrated with the speed of life on the farm. She has since moved away and become an attorney. And Jenny has already had 5 miscarriages and desperately wants to have children of her own. Larry wants to sell off his farm in 3 pieces. I'll stop going off about the Lear parallels here, but just know that there are dozens of them throughout the novel. And his want to sell off his farm in multiple pieces sets off a long chain of ingratitude, insanity, and intergenerational conflict between him and his daughters. Jenny and Rose, who already live and work on the farm, are interested, but Rose is suspicious of the move. Caroline tells her sisters that she suspects Larry has visited her law office while she wasn't there. Why, we don't really know. She also tells them that neither of them pay enough attention to their increasingly sick father. Jenny, who is already married, falls in love with Jess, who is the son of a farmer who is just relocated back to Iowa after being away for several years. And as if Larry already didn't seem like an aloof tyrant, we learned that here's a trigger warning. Pause here if you don't want to hear it. That he sexually abused Jenny and Rose while they were teenagers, which is a memory that Jenny had suppressed, but remembered upon Rose's prompting. Larry dies of a heart attack, which is a death that was much too peaceful for him, and some healing occurs after that. Rose's cancer comes back, and she wants Ginny to raise her children after she dies. Caroline remains sort of recalcitrant and defends her father to the last step, insists on seeing her father as a blameless victim instead of what he really is, which is a predator, not only on his two daughters, but also probably a tyrant before he started to turn, you know, before he started to suffer from dementia, and then once he started to do that, he became even more aggressively worse. Retellings can be shaky things. They can be overtly derivative, or when you're lucky, they can add just that certain je ne sais quoi that transmutes the original into something all of its own. And despite having read the book well over a year ago, I still don't really know what to make about it. I think about it a lot still, but I'm thinking it kind of leans towards the second here, which is the making Lear into something uniquely its own. I liked it. I didn't think it was brilliant, but I really liked the novel quite a bit. I had my doubts going in, mostly knowing Smiley is sort of a writer of domestic realism, which, broadly speaking, for me, doesn't really hold much interest. The Jonathan Franzen school of storytelling is not very appealing to me. But when I saw that it had made its way into Everyman's Library, even though it's been years since I read the Shakespeare play, probably 15 years, I decided to read it and was pleasantly surprised. And for anyone worried about whether you need to read Lear first, A Thousand Acres very much stands on its own, but needless to say, like any retelling, you would be enriched with some knowledge of the original because, like I said, the parallels keep popping up and up over again, and it's interesting to read them close back to back so you can feel and hear the resonances between them. And I kind of wish I would have done that, but I didn't feel like going and digging out my copy of King Lear from the shed. And I don't have one in the library in my house, so I just had to rely on an old Wikipedia summary to jog my memory and the book. You wouldn't think that the lives and the loyalties of something so grand as Shakespeare's King Lear would be mapped easily onto so different a time and a place, the 1970s in the United States in Iowa. But maybe that is just a testament to Smiley's talent as a novelist, or maybe the constancy of human nature, or maybe both. But it works. I think it works. It's a good novel, and I can see why it's included in the Everyman's Library. I enjoyed it quite a bit. James Smiley's The 1,000 Acres. See you soon with another book review.